Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you all had a wonderful July 4th weekend. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar on using LinkedIn for your business, hosted by BCNA in partnership with Queen's Chamber of Commerce and sponsored by Wells Fargo. My name is Shirin Guru, and I'm a business development manager and training coordinator at BCNA. BCNA is an award-winning SBA lender and CDFI. We have been serving small business owners in New York City since 1997 by providing small business loans, technical assistance, training, and resources. During this current crisis, BCNA has been assisting our clients by providing relief programs such as emergency loans, PPP, offering webinars related to COVID-19, and connecting to other resources for small businesses. I want to thank Queen's Chamber of Commerce for collaborating on another webinar today. Jacqueline, would you like to say a few words on behalf of Queen's Chamber of Commerce?
Yes, Shireen. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today, and BCNA for inviting us to sponsor this important presentation. My name is Jacqueline Donado, a strategic program manager of the Queen's Chamber of Commerce, a non-for-profit organization founded almost 110 years ago. Next September, we're going to be 110 years ago, 10 years. We create connections, we advocate for the business community, and we educate. We also run the Chamber on the Go program by New York City Small Business Services. I will share the link later on the chat. Today, I am very pleased to welcome Catherine Ventura, social media expert, that she has been working with us and with BCNA, of course, providing the latest social media resources and information to the small business needs. Thank you for joining us, and Shireen, once again, thank you for having us as a co-sponsor of this important presentation.
Thank you, Jacqueline. It's always a pleasure. So without any further delay, it's my pleasure to welcome Catherine Ventura, who will be speaking to us on today's webinar. Catherine is a social media content strategist with over 20 years experience in visual, written, and filmed communication. Catherine is also BCNA's marketing consultant, and very happy to have you here today, Catherine, to speak with us on a very important topic, LinkedIn. Personally, for me also, being a professional, and I'm really looking forward to learn some new tips and tricks. So thank you, Catherine.
Well, thank you very much, Sharing, and welcome everyone. Very pleased to be here, and pleased to see everyone who could join us today. Today we're going to be talking about using LinkedIn to get back to business. This will kind of depend on where you are with your business or where you are with your career, because some of us have been working all along, obviously under different circumstances. Some folks are reopening a business right now. And some of us may even have seen our business model change or decide to go in a different career direction. It has not been an easy time for anyone, and many of us have had to incorporate changes in our business or change our business fundamentally. So we're going to be looking at ways that LinkedIn can help you do that. LinkedIn is an extremely powerful tool, and today we're going to look at how we can use it to brand or rebrand, some keyword strategies, your business listings, how to grow your network effectively, some smart content strategies, and how you can leverage other networks for success. So why is LinkedIn important? Instagram and Facebook are more fun. People think of Facebook first, probably, when they think of social media marketing. Twitter, Pinterest, TikTok now. There are a lot of fun ways to share content with people. But LinkedIn actually has the best algorithm of any of the social platforms. If you post 3 times a week on LinkedIn, LinkedIn's algorithm guarantees that 50% of your network will see your name within a month. That's a huge level of exposure, basically for free. Facebook in no way can match that. So just some basic stats, 675 million people use it a month. So chances are some of the people who are important to your business are using it as well. 27% of Americans are currently on LinkedIn, a quarter of all Americans, including half of the Americans who went to college. Once again, if your business is targeting working professionals, chances are they're on LinkedIn. 40% of users check in at least once a day. That's one of the reasons why the algorithm is so powerful. Everyone's checking LinkedIn if they're using it and if they're in business. 30 million companies have LinkedIn company pages, so if yours doesn't yet, it should. And 80% of B2B leads come from LinkedIn versus 13% from Twitter and 7% from Facebook. So it's clearly your most powerful business tool in terms of social outreach. I included this chart. You can take a look at it when you get the slides, because it's important to check too. If your target market is 18-year-olds, LinkedIn may not be the best platform for you. But if it's adults who make a certain amount of money, who are professionals themselves, you can see from these demographics how powerful it is. So how can you use LinkedIn? As with any marketing tactic or any social media platform, using LinkedIn should be in support of your overall business objectives. There's no point going on LinkedIn just to post. You really need a content strategy that drives toward what you're hoping to accomplish with your business, or you're wasting your time. But LinkedIn can be used to accomplish a lot of marketing goals. One, let people know what you do. And this is particularly important, branding and search. This is particularly important if your business model has changed over the past couple of months, or if you're reopening with different services. I'm thinking of the restaurant industry, where a lot of folks, and I'll be using that as an example in this presentation, where a lot of folks are suddenly moving their chairs outside and offering contactless pickup. So that is a branding question. That is what you do right now, letting people know. And by using words that describe what you do right now, it also helps in turning up in search for that. Contactless delivery, street side dining, things like that. You want to turn up in searches for those as well if your business is switched to that. It helps spread the word about what you are doing right now as well. Which is PR fundamentally. If you've made a shift, if you're opening tomorrow, that's PR. Branding is what you do in general. PR is what you're doing right now. Listen to what potential clients or customers or current clients and customers are saying and asking. That's customer service, which is so important. You know, the traditional formula is that it costs 5 times as much to create a new customer as it does to retain an old one. So customer service is really always a key part of marketing, retaining your old customers, or learning what it is they need, what new needs your business can serve for them now. Contactless delivery is a classic example from these past 4 months. So many businesses have switched to that, and they want to let their customers know it's a safe alternative. Get found by people who need what you do. That's the classic new business marketing, finding new customers, new clients. But also the flip side of that, find people who have or who do what you need, which is networking. All of these marketing tactics also have to do with objectives that are oriented toward how you have changed in the past 4 months. Have you been working all along and want to share experiences that you've had through this period, or just kick it up a notch now? Was your business halted and are you opening up again? Has your business evolved, changed, added new services? Do you want to get found by people who need what you do right now? Or have you pivoted and have you changed your personal career goals? Maybe your old business is not what you're primarily doing now. Maybe you've started a new business, or maybe you've decided to do something as a freelancer. So these are all things to keep in mind in terms of how you use LinkedIn. So here are some examples from the restaurant industry of branding and search. Right here we have Tom Holmes saying, one of our great clients, so he's shouting out little customer service there, doing the right thing for his guests and team, interviewed by the Wall Street Journal. Curbside takeout, right? So this is what's going on now for one of his clients. So he's accomplishing 2 goals right here. He's helping to brand them, and he's networking. On the other side, on the right side, Anaheim Economic Development Team, also referring to a client of theirs or a partner of theirs and sharing what they're doing now. They're open for takeout, delivery, and catering orders. So this is not only branding, it's a client or a partner helping you brand. So you can see the many layers of what can be done here. This is PR. Managing Director Mildred says, it's good to be back. We are opening. We can't wait to open Dalston tomorrow at 9 a.m., launching new breakfast. So this is PR. This is what is happening now. He lists at the bottom when his other restaurants are going to open on the 7th of July, 9th of July, 14th of July. Very important, what they're doing right now. Customer service, here's a different take on it. This gentleman from iCoconut Grove instead has a very customer-centric post where he tells us what he's going to do for us, that his team members are going to be wearing gloves, that we're going to have hand sanitizer ready, that the tables are limited to 4 guests. So this is excellent customer service. He's talking all about the safety we will experience when we come to his restaurant, how much his restaurant cares about us. Here's some new business and marketing. Epsilon Fine Greek Restaurant has a deal. They're offering a special code for people to come back. Dine-in is temporarily closed, but curbside is open. Use this 10% discount. So this is a new business play or a increased volume from old customers as well, a special deal. Networking. So if you suddenly find that that trend for sourdough is important to your restaurant, you can search LinkedIn and find a sourdough bread distributor that you may not have been aware of. So you can use LinkedIn to find resources for your business as well. These are all tools. Here are some examples, and you can look at them when you get the deck of how the real estate industry is doing it. Here are 2 people who are kind of expressing thought leadership, talking about how phase 2 is opening and what that means for real estate. So it's thought leadership, but it's also branding for their particular companies. Here's some more. This is PR. Here's a market update. You notice on the right in his video, which he's posted, he's telling his company's customers exactly how many units are on the market right now. The gentleman on the left is talking about a big deal and that just happened, and you'll notice that he's tagged several people in it. This is a great way to network. Let folks know you're mentioning them, tag them on LinkedIn, and that's your networking goal met right there. And here are people who are just simply using LinkedIn for their listings. They're back in business. Oh, here's one we can all dream about on the left, a new exclusive for only $3.5 million. I'll think about it. And then on the right, a more reasonable property in, I believe it's Queens. So these are realtors saying we're showing now, we've got inventory, take a look at what we've got. And here's the Queens Chamber of Commerce with a post that's excellent customer service because they're saying committed to maximizing your membership. If you're a new member and haven't yet participated in an orientation, please register or join us virtually. So reaching out to new members to provide value. One important thing about posting on any social site is remember it's about the value you can share with your potential customers and clients, more than about advertising. Sharing value. That's going to solidify the relationship and network more effectively than just advertising what you've got. And here is a colleague, another consultant with BCNA, talking about how his firm has been actively working on small business funding programs with clients. And here's some information about PPP. So this is of value to his, not only his customers, his clients, but to any small business. He's sharing value, sharing information, and using keywords so that it's easily found by a small business or someone looking for PPP. So let's talk about keyword searches. LinkedIn is heavily indexed by Google. Google looks for fresh content and it works for linked content. It looks for links to and from your site. That's what it considers valuable. That's what it raises in search. SEO is search engine optimization. So for your business to turn up in a search, you want to be using the words that your customers are searching for. And you want to be linking in as many ways as you can to other sites. Every social site besides your personal Facebook page, Twitter, your Facebook business page, LinkedIn, YouTube, raise your results in Google because they're heavily linked. Every connection you have on LinkedIn is a link. So that's why if you search someone, their LinkedIn results always come up on the front page of Google. So that's why you want a detailed profile, a company profile, and updates using the keywords you want to get found for. Not only does it strengthen your branding, but it raises your Google results. Search on LinkedIn is keyword based as well. So for instance, here's a search on the right for microloans for immigrants, and you see that BCNA turns up first, and that's because they've optimized those words. BCNA has used those words frequently on their LinkedIn profile. Remember that professionals are using LinkedIn search over 2 million times a day. So use those keywords, think like your customer. What is your customer searching for? And use those words in your own profiles. Here's an example of my profile. Notice that I say social media strategist, community manager, writer, and content creator in my headline. And I also use them in my summary. Online social media engagement strategy. I say social media as often as is not irritating, because that way if someone's searching for a social media strategist, I'm optimized to turn up in the search. Also true of your company page, Queen's Chamber of Commerce, educate, advocate, network. They use some keywords. They use keywords in their main description of themselves, their headline, under their name, and they also use them in the about section. So this is very smart use of keywords on both a company and on a personal one. Shearing has done a wonderful job of optimizing her profile. She's filled out her about section. She's got a great title under her name, economic development. Those are keywords. Community outreach, excellent. She's also got a very nice branding picture of herself. We see New York in the background. So even though she doesn't specify New York, we get at a glance that she's from New York. So make sure your profile is refreshed and maximized. Again, particularly if there have been any significant changes in your business model because of the past 4 months. Have you added a new service? Have you slightly pivoted in what you offer as a professional? Have you eliminated a service that's not relevant right now? Make sure all the keywords that are on your profile are accurate right now. Use them for headlines. So that we'll just go back a second. Shearing has them here. Economic Development Community Outreach Program. That's what we mean when we say headline. And then for your skills and endorsements. So this is me, digital media, social media marketing, blogging, that's me. And under my headline, under my headline, it says social media strategist, community manager, content creator. Make sure your skills are up to date as well. Again, if you've added new skills, if you've taken courses during these past 4 months with your free time, unfortunately, many of us have had, add those skills. Add things that you've learned simply through the experience. Couldn't hurt. And importantly, LinkedIn lets you upload photos, links, videos, and files to your profile summary and background section. So take advantage of this to really make your profile stand out now. Here's an example of an architect adding photos of her work. And you can see in your profile section, there's a section for featured, and you want to click media there. So here's an example of photos. Here's an example of a career coach who's pivoted during this period and has started to specialize, because there's a desperate need for it now, in career coaching for recent grads who are having a very, very different job market and need very different skills and a very different approach to the job market than last year's graduates did. She's been in the media a lot, so she's uploaded her videos talking about what recent grads could do. Very, very, very timely. And she addresses in most of her descriptions the fact that she's specializing in recent grads in this difficult market right now. You want to make sure you're visible to the public. If you haven't been before, this is a really great time to do it. I won't dwell on it, but just all the tools you need are right here. Make sure that your profile is optimized so that it's not just viewed by your network, the public could see it. And a little pro tip here, you're more easily searchable if you edit your URL. LinkedIn has probably given you a URL that has numbers in it. Make it your name if you can do it, or a variation of your name. It helps in Google search. So let's talk about adding connections. If you haven't done it recently, again, now is a really great time to add everybody either in your email address book, and there's a very simple way to import that. It's easily Googleable. LinkedIn tells you how to do it. You upload your contacts and you import them, or you can do it directly from Gmail. If you haven't done it lately, this is a terrific time to do it, and you probably added some new contacts in the 4 months anyway. So make sure your contact uploads are up to date and that you've connected with everyone you know. But there are people you need to know that you don't necessarily know. And for that, there are two strategies. One, LinkedIn makes suggestions that are often very smart. You see, for instance, this person and I, Adele Gavish, have 11 mutual connections. Chances are we're in some of the same circles and it might make sense. If you take a look at this section, particularly if you haven't already really maximize the people you do know, you'll find some very intelligent suggestions. And don't hesitate to connect with someone that you actually don't know if you see that you actually have more than two mutual connections in common, because most people will be happy to connect back with you. Very few people say, no, I don't know you, I'm not going to connect with you. But more importantly, let's talk about ways to make connections with people that you need to know on LinkedIn. You can use search, for instance, Accompany. If you used to work at a company and there are people that you've lost contact with, just put the company in and you can click on, first of all, you'll see all the people that ever worked there. But you can also specify people who are your second degree connections versus your first degree connections. Play around with it, it's easy. It's a good way to find people you used to know from other companies or in your industry. The search function in LinkedIn is extremely powerful. Play with it. Take some time with it to find people you should know and that you should be connected with. You can find people from the school you went to. You see right here, you can search, or you can put in Adelphi, if you went to Adelphi, and find some people that graduated from Adelphi and maybe reconnect with old friends that way. It's a terrific search engine. Or if you have a business, and again, I'm using restaurants as a model here. If your business is pivoted and you need to find new folks, search for what you need. Coffee distributor. Look, these folks turned up as coffee distributors. So this may be exactly the person you need to know right now. Here's somebody who's also distributing coffee. These are potential new contacts for your business, particularly if your business is in need of that now, or if you are in need of that now. But most importantly, and this is true of any social network, listen, comment, tag, and like to build your network. Most people think that social media success is about what you post. To a certain extent it is. It's very important to be sharing things of value, to be a valuable member of your network's community, to be an account that they like to go to because they know they're going to find something interesting, or let's put it this way, that isn't clogging their feed with things they're not interested in. For instance, I get annoyed when I see people posting beautiful pictures of sunsets with inspirational quotes from whomever. Okay, that's nice, but it's really not what you should be doing on LinkedIn. That's not really adding value to a network where people are there to enhance their own business success and make network connections that will be helpful to them. So if you're posting things of value, of course, that is the very, very best way to become a valued citizen and member of someone's network on LinkedIn. But the secret really in growing your network is to be a good friend to the people in your network as well. Everyone likes one of their posts to be liked. Everyone likes comments. Everyone likes to be shared. And so the more you do that, the more you're enhancing your ties with people you're already connected with. Partnerships, you're building partnerships by sharing each other's content. You're adding value by making intelligent comments on other people's posts, always supportive, always thanking them for an excellent post, but maybe adding some value. So think about the ways that you can potentially attract new connections by being a valuable member of someone else's community. This is true on Facebook too, by the way, for Facebook business pages, as well as Twitter, as well as pretty much all of the social sites. Try to be a valuable member of discussions on other people's sites, on other people's posts, because then you're putting your name and the name of your business in front of people that you're not connected with yet. Let's call it free way of advertising who you are to somebody else's network, particularly if you're sharing value, particularly if you're saying something smart. So this is a post by Andrew Seaman on LinkedIn, who's one of the LinkedIn editors. And he posts, LinkedIn has editors who are constantly posting on certain topics. Carol Kroll has made a comment here where she says, the continual search for employment is a job in itself. I need to stay positive, and there's no reason to insert doubt into my search or my life. And Andrew Seaman compliments her on it, tagging her by tagging her name. So that conversation, her commenting on Andrew Seaman's post, is a way of making Andrew Seaman aware of her. I'm not sure this is the best comment she could have made, but on the other hand, it's relevant to what Seaman posted, and she's gotten herself in front of Andrew Seaman and in front of everybody else who's reading this thread. So look for smart conversations going on other people's posts, or particularly when nobody else has commented yet or posted yet, where your comment or your like or your share will have a lot more value to the original poster. And really use that technique as a smart way of building your network as well, of making more folks acquainted with you, as well as finding other people that you're interested in. Who of us hasn't made a new friend on Facebook because we got involved in a conversation on a mutual friends thread, right? And the same thing actually happens on LinkedIn, but you have to be careful on LinkedIn. It really has to be of value from a business point of view. Always complimentary of the original poster, never trying to steal the conversation and insert your product or your point of view instead. So that is the secret to organically building your network with new contacts who are part of mutual networks, who are second degree of separation or third degree of separation. Very, very powerful tool, often more powerful than simply sharing your own content. True on Facebook as well. So let's talk about content strategy. I am assuming everybody knows how to post on LinkedIn, that you're already pretty handy with LinkedIn, but if not, I've included some basic instructions, but I want to share this pro tip. One thing that drives me nuts is seeing the URL in the post because it's distracting and it's ugly. Know that once you've shared a link, you can delete the URL and just add your point of view above that. You know, here's a great list of links. You don't need to leave the URL there. It's right here. And users know that you can click on that. Remember, people are scrolling quickly. You have about 2 seconds to catch their attention. So the more complex, the more confusing a post is, the less likely anyone is to stop on it. 2 smart sentences that really grab the attention. Nothing else in your post. You've already linked to it, so remove that URL. LinkedIn is now asking people to add hashtags. Remember, hashtags are really for Instagram, so please 1 or 2 or 3 maximum, and they really are search terms. They're not fun terms on LinkedIn. You want to use one if it's actually what people are searching for, if that post is going to be of value. So because it's LinkedIn statistics that matter to marketers, yes, marketing would be a search term that you would want to turn up in for this. If people click on that hashtag, this article will be appropriate when they find it. So use appropriate search terms as hashtags and use them discreetly on LinkedIn. Again, small business owners, LinkedIn not only lets you upload links, you can add photos, videos, or files to your post. And this is what we just discussed with hashtags. So if I'm going to post something that's relevant to small business owners, yes, by all means use that hashtag because it is relevant. So company page, if you haven't created a company page, please do. It's very, for your own company. It's very easy to do. You do need a URL, I believe, and you do need a logo to make it work for you. But if you have those and you haven't created a company page, it really helps with your Google search results. And it's a great tool on LinkedIn. Very simple. You just go to the work right there and right down here, it says create a company page. So that's really easy to do. I'm going to skip through this because it's very self-explanatory, but LinkedIn makes it really, really easy. You do want to upload your logo. And remember on LinkedIn, that pencil is always how you edit. Oh, pro tip here, if you didn't have a company page and you've created one, you need to go back now to your personal page and edit your job there at your own company. and re-enter your company page, and that way the logo that you've just added will pop up and it will be linked. Again, here's some instructions on how to create that company page. So I'm going to breeze through this because it's not hard, and I want to leave time for questions at the end, and you'll see it from the handout. So let's take a look at some ways that folks are updating LinkedIn that are appropriate for rebooting, reopening, or potential business model changing. And these are two posts that caught my eye that I wanted to share. This one in particular, Kate Felsen, I've been following her because she's part of a really tremendous initiative. Some of you may have already seen this. Feed the Front Lines is one of the, is one of the organizations that's popped up during the COVID crisis to provide meals to folks who are working in hospitals and on ambulances, whole front line in people who've been saving lives for 4 months. There's another initiative in Queens, there's one in Harlem. Feed the Front Lines is one that popped up in Manhattan almost immediately, and it was the brainchild of an Italian restaurant, Terralucci Vino, and like many restaurateurs, it had dual purpose. One, he didn't want to have to fire his staff. Nobody was coming to his restaurants, but his staff was like family to him, and he was desperate to find a way not to fire them and put them in economic difficulty. He also was, as many of us were, horrified by what was going on and the pace and the importance of the work that was going on in hospitals and how exhausted and how stressed the people working in hospitals were. So someone wrote to him and said, hey, can I buy 80 meals for the folks who are working at Mount Sinai? And from that, Feed the Front Lines was born, as were a couple of other organizations. I know there's one in Queens, and Field Trip's doing it up here in Harlem, but they actually incorporated, right? Feed the Front Lines, Feed the Front Lines did it right away. They created a website for themselves overnight, a simple website. They branded it and created a way for people to donate money. And what I find really fascinating about this post is that Kate Felsen is the wife of the owner of Terralucci Vino, and the whole family got into the act. The daughter created the website. Daughter was a student that my son went to school with. They knew each other from school, which is one of the reasons why I became aware of this really immediately. But she runs a PR organization. She has a marketing and communication organization. And what I find interesting and exciting is that she's actually changed her headline there. She's taken away her usual headline under her name, which was about her marketing agency, which she has not closed, but she's changed it to co-founder of Feed the Front Lines. And I think it's a really interesting and really smart move because they have pivoted. And it'll be interesting to see what happens to that organization as New York, fingers crossed, continues to keep that curve down and continues to stay healthy. Very interesting success story of keeping all of the restaurant employees at work and finding a new offering for them, which was taking care of people in hospitals and also taking care of families in need, something that Field Trip was doing up here in Harlem as well. Here's a fun one that's actually just kind of a personal, remember when I said in the beginning, you might have been working all along, share what you've learned from the period. Here's a great example of this. This gentleman who works at Disney in Viacom says, as the country slowly reopens, did any new skills come out of the past 4 months? Brushed up on old ones, personal, professional? Here are some of my new ones. He wrote a screenplay. That's big news. He learned to cut hair. He's been cooking more, and he did his own taxes. So this is a fun post because he's talking about the fact, this is a very human experience. So this is something he's sharing with his network. He's asked a question, and I can't stress enough how important questions are in engagement in social media. It's the smartest thing you can do. Ask a question in your post, on your Facebook post or on your LinkedIn post, because you've immediately engaged your network's brain. Even if they don't answer, they've thought about it. So you've engaged. They've taken a moment to think about your question. So he's asking a question of his own network. This is a bonding experience. This is a networking experience. This is a customer retention experience. So I thought this was an interesting and terrific post. And of course, the picture is hilarious. So these are interesting ways of approaching pivots that have happened during the period. Post an article if you haven't already. LinkedIn allows you to post articles as if you were blogging on LinkedIn. And if you haven't taken advantage of it, do. It's an opportunity to present thought leadership. It's an opportunity to do from 1 to 15 paragraphs. They don't have to be long. It can be 3 paragraphs, just getting a thought off your mind. You do need a catchy photo to go with it. Or it can be a paragraph introducing something you just did with a link to it. So for instance, if you just uploaded a new video, paragraph describing why you uploaded the video, what it's about, and then a link to the video. And you'll find it right there where it says start a post. Normally you just type in the post and the link right there, but right there it says write an article on LinkedIn right underneath. Don't be daunted. Very simple process. It's really like Insta-blogging. It's like Tumblr of old, or just posting a longer post on Facebook. Consider a branding piece, something that tells people what you're up to now, what you've done, what your thoughts are now after 4 months of quarantine. Be sure you have an image that goes with it, but it's a great way to use your keywords. It's an excellent way to reinforce your own profile or your company's profile and tell people what you're doing now. So PR or branding. Here's the woman I showed before, who's an executive coach and a career coach, who's pivoted a little bit in this period to help recent grads. These are recent grads find work. These are 2 articles she's posted on LinkedIn. More great opportunities for job seekers now. Easy to assume that during this pandemic, few companies are in growth mode, but here are some companies that are hiring. And she links to her other article as well. This is a list of 15 companies, and this is an ongoing list she published on April 24th. This was updated in June. They're constantly updated, but she published this one in April and this one in June. So she's also linking between her own articles. And it's a way of staying relevant. It's a way of addressing what's going on right now. And it's adding tremendous value. Very simple. Just a list, a great title, and a great graphic. And she's provided value for a community. So really consider it. And by the way, a little shout out to her, if you've got a recent grad, check out her content. It's extremely helpful. Update strategically. So one of the questions I hear most often is, how do I find the time to do this? It does take some time, but if you concentrate your efforts where it matters, where it makes a difference, you can do some wonderful marketing work in 10 minutes, 20 minutes a day, a couple days a week. Important to know when your audience is actually, and when you're public, when your clients, when your potential clients, when your partners are on LinkedIn. If, I often say on social media, if you are in the entertainment business, if you represent jazz musicians, I wouldn't post at 8:30 in the morning because nobody's awake. On the other hand, 5 in the afternoon, maybe that's when everybody's waking up. If you are talking to young mothers, 7:30 in the evening is actually a really good time to do that. If you have a blog for mothers or you have child products, mothers put their kids to bed and then turn on their computers. So that's actually a really good time for that market. Know when your customers and clients are online. In general, these are the best times to post on LinkedIn, but it really does depend on your audience. Wednesday seems to be the sweet spot. Maybe psychologically people are concentrating on work Monday and Tuesday, and then on Wednesday they're a little more relaxed and they see what everybody else is up to. And afternoon seems to be the best time. But in general, there's no rule that says nobody's going to see your post on Monday. In fact, with less competition, that may be the perfect time for you to do it. What time best works for you, as long as it falls within the reasonable level of the reasonable expectation about your potential audience. I do really like lunchtime, particularly for things that are very visual, because lunchtime is when people kind of take a moment to start scrolling. But keep in mind that 50% approximately of your audience is going to be looking on a cell phone. So make sure you have a visual that grabs people's attention, keep people's attention, and keep your messaging clear and I would go for maximum 2 sentences when you're introducing a link with clear keywords so I know absolutely what it's about. Really make it strategic. By posting at strategic times 3 days a week, you can really, really make a lot of difference in 15 minutes a day. And marketing is important, and LinkedIn is a very, very strategic and very powerful marketing tool. So take a look, do a little research, see when the people that you want to contact, see what times they're posting. LinkedIn tells you, and if they're all posting at 5 in the afternoon, maybe that's when you want to be posting as well. It's definitely when you want to be commenting. So remember that, particularly for those of us who are time challenged, what's wonderful about LinkedIn, which is different from Facebook, a little different from Twitter, is that when you like, share, or comment, you have effectively posted. You don't have to go crazy looking for original content to post, although something of value, an article you've read that you post, is always a great idea. But it's enough to share somebody else's that actually appears in folks' feeds as if you had posted it. So here's an example. New York Women in Business. This is an event coming up, Reboot for the New Normal. It's going to be a great event, a little women-centric, but gentlemen are invited. Please do take a look. New York Women in Business posted it. Yankee Shearing, who's the executive director of BCNA, comment on it. Here, Business Center for New Americans posted something. As a business, Yankee Shearing liked it. And what happened was both of those turned up in my feed as if Yankee had posted them. So if you were super pressed for time and you know that there are sources of great content that are on brand strategically for your own business and your own messaging, you can take 5 minutes and just share something they've posted, or comment intelligently and supportively, or like it, and you've as much as posted. And if you do that 3 times a week, 50% of your network is going to see you every month, which is why it's very important to make sure it's on target. Don't like things just because it's one of your friends if it has nothing to do with your business, if you're in an actively promotional period for your business. Or if you do, make sure it's only about 1/10 of what you're doing. You could have a friend who has a dog sitting business, but that has nothing to do with what you're doing. In which case, be very careful about liking it, or share it with a comment about, let's say you're a marketer, you could say, my friends at whatever the name of the company is are doing a terrific job of marketing. Here's their new post. So that suddenly uses your keyword marketing. If you are rebooting, if you are reopening, remember right now, it really should be about what you've got to offer. You want people to know you're in business and what you're doing. So just remember this secret there are 2 secrets I want to share with you to really, really help you maximize your time today. One is, all you have to do is like, share, or comment on somebody else's post, and you have posted. So make sure it fits your own marketing, branding, and PR content strategy right now. And second, by liking, sharing, or commenting, you've exposed, particularly commenting, you've exposed people in their network to who you are. So you're taking steps in building your own network, getting your name in front of other people. So if you're really time pressed, just doing this strategically is a terrific way to get seen by people you need to get seen by. Also, be sure your company page is updated right now. It's important that your company page represents what's going on right now in terms of where you stand as a company. These are older. When it says 6 days here, that was I posted these a long time ago. But the point I wanted to make here is, in new posts, I want you to be careful about things like that, because we're still in a mask phase. We're still in a danger phase. So update your company page with new posts, but make sure they represent the new reality as well, or the temporary reality. And be careful about sharing older things that might make people's immediate reaction be a negative one, like wear the masks, or, oh my God, look at how many people are standing next to each other. This is a very delicate moment in New York's reopening. So make sure everything that you share about your business, if not reflects the specific conditions of right now, doesn't set off any alarms. These were terrific posts when they happened, but right now we've got a we've got a special situation that your business needs to reflect. You don't want anyone having any negative associations when you share. And if there is a reason to share one of these, make sure you let folks know it was from a while ago before we began social distancing. Make everyone aware that you know that social distancing is now a safer option, that your business is a safe business. Share your company page posts. So once you post on your company page, share it, just like with Facebook. Post your company page, share to your personal page. That way you've got double the search opportunity. Google indexes both of them, and you've shared it to a broader network. You may have a couple of hundred followers, a couple thousand followers on your business page, but chances are you have more personal contacts. So we share to BCNA, and then we encourage everybody at BCNA. We post to BCNA, and we encourage everyone at BCNA to share it, and that way my 2,000 contacts will see it as well as the folks already following BCNA. Be strategic about groups. If you're not in groups that are appropriate to your business, join some. Groups like what I mentioned about sharing and commenting on other people's posts are a terrific way to get seen by new people as well. So for instance, if you're a realtor in New York, check out groups that have to do with real estate. In New York specifically, you might be seeing some excellent tips from other realtors in those groups about how to handle the COVID situation. Or you may be getting your name in front of new people. Again, groups are, if you haven't updated the groups you're in, or particularly if your business model has changed slightly, or if you have new offerings and you want to find new vendors, or if you need to present other services and need vendors or partners for that, do an update to the groups that you're a member of on LinkedIn right now. Here's how you find them, and here's how you update in them. Here's a great time saver. Again, this seems like a lot of work, but what I like to do is I like to create browser bookmarks. Depending on the browser you're using, there are different ways to do that, but I use Firefox on a Mac, and it allows me, sorry about that, I have a very sensitive mouse. It allows me to create bookmark folders. And what I do is I then put all of the social media sites, for BCNA in this case, in that folder. So it's very easy to just go down my list and see what's going on the website, see what's going on Facebook, see what's going on Twitter. And that's really a way to do it in an efficient time manner as well. If you only have 20 minutes a day to check all your social sites. Within that LinkedIn folder, I also have strategic partners pages bookmarked and vendors pages bookmarked. So I can see if any of LinkedIn's strategic partners or allies or favorite clients have posted, and I can get to it really quickly without having to search. So consider using this little trick to really maximize the time you spend. Again, you're going to get a copy of this, so no need to take notes. Important thing about LinkedIn is you can use it not only to stay top of mind, but for discovery as well. So as we change, as we open up, we're not only using it to use an opportunity to let other folks know what we're thinking, what we're doing, how our business had shifted, if we've completely changed direction, if we're open again now, or if we picked up a new skill. It also offers an opportunity to build network, to build community with the networks we already have and to attract new networks, but also to discover new things that may be important to you now, or new opportunities, or new contacts that are important to you now. So really think of LinkedIn as one of your best search engines. So I think that's it, that's me, and everyone's going to get a copy of this. So I'm going to stop my share, and we do have a few minutes left, I think, for questions. So
is there any suggestion at this trying times to search to buy a restaurant?
Yes, absolutely. And it would be a great place to put a query, and that would absolutely be a smart use of LinkedIn groups. Look for a group that's restaurant owners. Join it and see if anyone's presenting an opportunity there. Or you can post yourself that you're looking for an opportunity, looking for a mid-range restaurant, et cetera, et cetera. But for instance, that's why I mentioned if you have, for instance, 1,000 connections, you've only got those 1,000 connections, and some of them are your buddies from college, right? So go into those groups where you're going to be able to put the query in front of people who aren't your connections yet. If you see somebody talking about restaurant opportunities or a lot of restaurants are closing, that would be an opportunity to make a comment on that post saying, yeah, you know, interesting times, I'm looking to buy right now. You know, that would be a very appropriate comment to a conversation going on in somebody else's post. So absolutely, yeah. Use it the way you would use Google. It's a magnificent search engine. I can't stress that enough. It's a very powerful search engine. So I hope that was helpful. If you've got a follow-up question, just feel free to add it. I see some, how do you change the title under your name? Mary, hi Mary. Very simple, use that little pencil up at the top of your profile. It's called, it's just a regular switch, but one thing that is very important is that if you are updating your jobs, one mistake that can easily happen is if you have a new job, LinkedIn has a little question down there, do you want us to update your headline? If you don't, unclick that. Otherwise, your headline switches from social media expert, social media guru to owner of blank, blank, blank. You never want to be an owner. You never want to be a CEO. You never want to be a principal. That doesn't tell anybody what you do. And it's not a great search term. You want to tell people what you're an expert at in your headlines. But it's right up there in search. You just hit that little, I mean, it's right up there, I'm sorry, in edit up at the top when you look at your profile. Just hit those little pencils. You roll your cursor over it and you'll see it right there. I see a question, I hope that's helpful, Mary. If not, shoot me an email. I see a question from Diego. Do you consider the groups a good place to develop business? So it depends on what you mean by develop, Diego. If you want to add a little addendum to that, I'll start, but it depends on what you mean by develop. If you mean by finding funders, potentially yes. If you mean by finding potential clients, be careful, or potential customers, be careful, because it's not really an advertising platform. It's meant to be a networking platform. So if you're looking for strategic partners, if you're looking for funders, absolutely. It's a B2B networking platform. And if there's an appropriate group, yes. But nobody likes the person who shows up on the group and immediately starts advertising themselves. Take a while to get to know the group, to see the kind of things that are appropriate to it. But definitely look to see if there are people in the group that might have the goods, the services, the whatever it is that you're looking for in terms of development. And the second part of the question is, what are the countries that most seek the service of professionals specialized in communication on LinkedIn? Every country. The service of professionals specialized in communication. Depends on what you mean by communication. Do you mean what I do? Marketing, writing, that kind of thing? Every country has that need. It just depends on how developed the market is. Obviously, United States, yeah, there are millions of us, and there aren't enough to go around because clearly a lot of folks need our help. In emerging markets, yeah, for sure. But the sensitivity may not be there yet. If you would add a little more information, Diego, we could address that a little more specifically. But if you go to LinkedIn stats, the United States is just a small part of LinkedIn's worldwide penetration. It's huge everywhere. I mean, it's huge in India. It's not so much China probably, because China likes to block other sites, but India for sure, it's huge. It's huge all over the world. And go to LinkedIn Business or search LinkedIn statistics, and you'll find that information very easily if there's a specific country you're interested in. But my answer is absolutely, all countries. Jake, so beyond having to post about your company, what types of posts do you recommend posting about? I figure you want to build your personal brand. Again, I'm a social media marketer. So I post about social media. Simple as that. I want to show people that I'm an expert in my field. So I definitely look for posts about that. On the other hand, right now I'm not actively marketing. So I also support clients' posts because I'm not actively looking for more clients myself. So that's what I do. But if I were in active build mode, I would be showing people what I'm good at and what I know about. So if you are a dog groomer, for instance, I'm not sure what your business is, Jake, but if you're a dog groomer, show me your expertise about dogs. Show me that you understand dog psychology. Show me that you understand hygiene. Show me that your business is, that you're very cognizant about distancing. I saw a dog walker walking down the street yesterday with like 15 dogs, another dog walker, and neither of them were wearing masks. And all I could think of was, oi, they're entering people's homes without masks, right? And talking to each other. It just, you want to let people know you're an expert and you're good at what you do, and that you know the nuances of the industry that you're in. What are people looking for? Any potential customer or client is looking for someone who can solve a problem they have. What problems does your business solve? Let your potential customers know you do that, right? And that you do it well. And it can be specifically about what you're doing, but showing that you appreciate expertise from other folks is fine. I love to share things from HubSpot because they have great content. It doesn't need to originate from me, but by sharing HubSpot's posts on social media, it shows that I know the best practices, right? So whatever your business is, share freely, and also share other people who are also in your field, because that's networking with them. That makes them happy. If you've got a strategic partner, let's say you're a dog groomer and there's a dog walking service, share each other. And that way it really shows that you're part of a community of dog experts. Can you create a company page on LinkedIn without having an individual page? No. You don't have to fill your whole personal page out, but you have to have one. You have to have an account on LinkedIn. It's like Facebook. You can create a business page on LinkedIn once you have an account on Facebook. That's actually a good question when I think about it. There may be a business service whereby you're only a business customer on LinkedIn, but I would never advise it. And here's why. Facebook too, I always advise against it because it limits your ability to share it to your own network. I have 2,000 connections on LinkedIn. So when I share a BCNA post, potentially 2,000 people see that. It's going to take your company a long time to build up 2,000 followers. Nobody's going to see its posts. You want individuals to share it. So your best strategy is to build your own network and share your business's post. If you want to lurk, if you haven't added your picture and you don't want to be present and you just want to have it there for SEO for LinkedIn, you can do that. But it's not the best practice. It's not your best use of LinkedIn. It's good to be there, but it's not going to be as successful as if you were promoting it as a person. So, Valerie, can you advertise multiple businesses on one page? Okay, so first of all, let's get away from that word advertise. No, the answer is no. And by page, you mean a business listing. No, it doesn't make any sense unless what you're saying is that your business has multiple offerings. So for instance, if you have a clothing company for women's wear, and you also have a clothing company for men's wear, and they pretty much have the same name, and you're on LinkedIn not looking really to sell your clothes, but looking to find buyers from stores, yeah, it would make sense to combine those two things as one company. You are in the clothing business and you have all of these different kinds of merchandise and you're looking for buyers. But if your two businesses are different, why would you do that? Because you would want to turn up in two different keyword searches. Again, this really depends on what your businesses are and what your goals are. I go back to the very beginning. What are you trying to do? Who are you trying to inform of it? Are you branding? If the two businesses are different, then you'll need different branding strategies. Are you pivoting? Have you added a new business to your old business? Then maybe it does make sense. You have to ask yourself those questions. But the top line answer pretty much would be, I would create separate business pages for businesses that are distinct. Can you create an event on LinkedIn? Yes, you can. Click the LinkedIn symbol in the upper left or your home symbol in the top of your navigation bar. And if you look in the left-hand column down toward the bottom, you'll see the word event. You click the plus sign, and this is the window that pops up. And it's fairly self-explanatory. You add an image, you add the times, you can say whether it's online or not, and add all of your details. So let's end on the most important idea. network by supporting the other people in your network. They will appreciate it. It will solidify the relationship. And that's a way of getting your name well branded with an excellent headline under your name in front of people that don't know you yet. It's a free little billboard, as long as you're not making it a billboard, as long as what you're being is a supportive member of your network rather than an advertiser. Thank people, click like, share their posts. If they're on brand, make comments, and make sure the headline under your name really lets people know at a glance who you are. And good luck, everybody. These are tricky times, and if there's any way that BCNA or Queens can support you, they're both terrific organizations. They have tons of resources. They have great webinars, so please do take advantage of all of them.
All right, so thank you everyone for joining today, and I look forward to seeing you at our upcoming webinar, and have a nice rest of the day. Bye, everybody.